Hidden in the veneer of the American landscape lies a multi-billion-dollar industry, promising to heal disruptive and defiant teens. Advertised as a last resort for desperate families to help their troubled children, these programs portray themselves as a solution to rebellious behavior with the goal of restoring order and discipline. But what happens when the industry planned to heal ends up hurting? Behind the tightly controlled doors of these programs hides a dark reality, one of physical and emotional neglect. What was intended as a lifeline became a trap, leaving countless young people broken and families destroyed. As more survivors come forward, the industry is hanging on a knife edge, and its grip on the most vulnerable is slipping away.
It was abuse. That's what it was, nothing less. I was taught from the beginning that the harsher the treatment, the better the results, but it couldn't be further from the truth. I truly thought I was helping. But it wasn't help. It was abuse. It was isolation. It was control. Over time, I stopped seeing progress. I just saw pain. Kids in pain, kids in silence. I left after 2 weeks without looking at any of them. I couldn't bear myself to look at the pain I caused. I couldn't even say goodbye. Since then, I've been teaching the kids and the parents the healing process after what I feel like I put them through.
They broke down my door at 2 in the morning. Being only 16, it was absolutely terrifying. One day you're a normal kid, and the next you're being dragged off to the middle of the desert.
Come on. Up, ups. Get up. Come on.
Who are you? Who the fuck are you? No! Help! Mom!
You get.
16. You're a kid. Nothing else. What they did to me will live with me for the rest of my life. I jump up in bed, fearing that they're going to walk back through that door. This has been happening since the 60s. The programme, the people, they've gotten away with it because it's always been kids versus adults. But now the kids are coming back and no one's stopping us.
One thing they made us do was something called group bonding. They made us sit in a circle for 2 hours. Made us confess everything that was wrong with us. Some of the things these people did was horrifying. This guy here burned his house down. And that girl over there, she chased her sister with a knife. I feel like some of them were here for feeling tests. As if they didn't even want to be here. Of course they didn't. Why would they? But one thing you learn is that you do actually learn a lot about the people that you're with for a long time. And not in a good way either. Some people are here from no remorse, just carnage and chaos. And others couldn't do anything but feel bad. How could they even put a group like us together? At the start, it's alright. You're walking, like you're walking around in your neighborhood. But then you get to the hills. And they're not hills, they're mountains. You look up and you just get lost within them. Once you get to the top, they blindfold you. Yeah, they tell you that there's a reward waiting for you. Your mind kicks into gear for the first time in months. And you get excited thinking, what is it? Food, water, a nice view even. Then you take the blindfold off and you just see the desert. For miles and miles, there's a feeling of despair, of sorrow. I guess they do it to break you down. It's cruel, horrifying.
would have been there for about 3 months at the time. I think it was the same day that I couldn't move. I remember there was a member of staff and he'd come up to me and he had said something like, "Oh, you think you're all that?" And I know he was undermining me, but I wanted to say something and I feel like I tried to say something and nothing came out. It felt like I couldn't talk. And I think it just kind of got worse until that point. They would drag my clothes out of my bag, chuck them in the dirt, and then there was a moment where they poured a drink over my head. I feel like that moment was the moment where I thought, if these people were supposed to be protecting me, then why do I fear them?
Right, everyone get up. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on.
It was a long time coming, to be fair. I think we walked and walked for days, sometimes like even weeks it felt on end. And it was almost as if my legs just couldn't move. Like they were giving way, and I there was one morning I tried to get up and I literally just couldn't move.
You have 2 ways to leave the industry, 3 if you're lucky. One is that your parents come and take you away. They sign loads of paperwork basically saying that you won't sue the company for mental health problems after, and then they take you to the desert and then you're free. You can go. The other is you're 18. Legally they can't keep you, and so you have the decision to leave, but they don't tell you that when they take you to leave, they won't give you money or ID or a passport. They just leave you in some local town and you're done. Finally, it's very lucky. The police come and shut some of the camps down while you're there, and so they'll call your parents, and then you're free. They can either send you away again or you're home permanently. But that was very rare, you know. I only heard rumours of it ever happening. It doesn't get easier when you get home either. You know, you have to adjust to a life that you haven't lived in for months and years, and it's even harder when your parents don't believe you, like mine did. Mine didn't believe me that I'd been abused, I'd been hurt, you know, day in, day out. They didn't believe me, and that was so hard for me. We were only kids and we were alone.
Pack us up and leave me with it, holding all this love out here in the hall. I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending. You're not my homeland anymore, so who am I defending now? You were my town, now I'm in exile seeing you out. I think I've seen this film before. I can see you staring, honey, like he's just your understudy, like you get your knuckles bloody for me. Second, third, and 100th chances, balancing on breaking branches. Those eyes add insult to injury. I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending. You're not my problem anymore, so who am I offending now? You were my crown, now I'm in exile seeing you out. I think I've seen this film before, so I'm leaving out the side door. So step right out. There is no amount of crying, but all this time we always walked a very thin